Hello, my name is Jessica Hauser, and this reflection is about the Blount County School Board meeting that I attended on September 6, 2012. This was the first school board meeting that I'd ever attended, so I was unsure of what to expect at first. Since this was also the first meeting of the new school year, the board had to do some housekeeping work at first. They elected officers and welcomed their new student representatives from the county high schools of William Blount and Heritage. Then the director of schools, Mr. Rob Britt, gave a report. For this meeting, he chose to highlight how much elementary schools had improved over the past 3 years, and he gave special recognition to certain schools and teachers who had showed dramatic improvement in academics. It was nice to see that Blount County schools are improving and continuing to work towards more improvement. Then the board went through a list of approvals that needed to be made. These included things like new teachers in some schools, new coaches, and a lengthy list of field trip approvals. And there was also a list of non-paid faculty coaches that had to be approved by the school board. The board did not verbally name each request. Instead, it was listed in the agenda of the meeting, and each member stated that they had read over the list prior to the meeting, and if a member had a concern about anything listed on the agenda, then they could speak up. If not, then everyone on the list was going to become approved. Before going to the meeting, I did not realize how much had to get school board approval before it could take place in a school. I mean, every field trip and coaches and teachers all have to go through school board approval before they can take place in a school. After the list of approvals, the board has to discuss some possibly editorial changes to policies. These policies included separation practices for tenured teachers, separation practices for non-tenured teachers, and non-tenure policy. A board member brought up some of his concerns about what he wanted the changes to be, and so the board discussed these changes for a minute, and then they decided that they needed to take a look more closely at the Tennessee State Legislature before officially deciding. So this issue was tabled for another 30 days. At the end, the board allowed for comments from the Blount County Education Association, comments from student representatives, and comments from the community regarding items that were not on the agenda. One person in attendance brought up a controversial issue about the new income tax that will take place in Alcoa on October 1, and that is going to fund for Alcoa a new high school. The person stated how in November, if it gets passed, then legislation will be created that will give Blount County schools part of that tax income. He also stated why Blount County schools desperately needed a part of that tax income, because right now Blount County school students receive $683 less per student than the state average. Overall, I really enjoyed my experience at the Blount County September school board meeting. I learned a lot about the school board's powers in the school system and the importance on becoming informed on their decisions that are made at the meetings.